Hey guys, welcome to the Super Coach Show. Coming to you live every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're watching us on the Whatever It Takes Network, Grant Cardone's network, we're coming to you from the Burt Center, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. That's a cross between a former championship coach who has an entrepreneurial mind. Follow me at Micheal Burt. Brock Patterson, the Chief Optimizer. The Jerry Maguire, the Don King.
Show me the money.
The Show Me the Money agent.
Show me the money.
And we're coming to you this week. We ain't talking Spaghetti Factory.
Uh-oh.
We're talking Greatness Factory. Because I believe that you can build a system so strong and so powerful that people could be put in there from all walks of life.
I like it.
From all backgrounds.
I love it.
From all social economics. From all colors. From all whatever.
Right.
And if it's strong enough, if the system is strong enough, that you could pump them out on the other side as greatness. Now, here at the Super Coach Show, we really do three things, Brock. We want to multiply your life, multiply your money, and multiply your business. And today we're really talking teams. We're talking companies and organizations.
Big.
And we're talking how to maximize and squeeze out the potential of every person on your team. Now, I get to speak all over the country.
Right.
And we have a very popular program called Turn Your Managers into Coaches.
Yes.
Okay? I was a former championship coach. Let's go to the thing. I want you to see back when Coach was back in his prime, winning championships, yelling at officials, arguing with people from 19, really 15, to 31. All I did for that time period of my life was coach the teetotal hell out of people, out of kids.
I love it.
Right? But I brought something different to the equation.
Sure.
And what made me different as a championship coach was that I brought business principles to the athletic world. Here's a shot, an actual shot of the night that I won a championship, 38-3 team. Second most wins in the history of Tennessee. Me hugging my players because it was a crazy night that I'll never forget the rest of my life. That's why I wear the big championship ring on my right fingers, because it took us 10 years to win that thing, man. But during those 10 years, I learned something, Brock. I learned that we could take people from all backgrounds and put them into a proven system.
Right.
And pop them suckers out on the other side as winners. I used to call it inner engineering people to win.
Sure.
I wrote a book about it called The Anatomy of Winning. How to rewire people to win. How do you build life, leadership, and success into your organization? But now, when people ask me, here's how I refer to it. I actually just said it today when I was speaking. Is that we created what I call the Greatness Factory. And when you think about a factory, what do you think about? I mean, because as soon as I say factory, it elicited something
Absolutely.
in you.
Yeah, the first time you said it, I thought robotic brainwashing. The term just made me elicit a negative emotion to it.
Yes.
Off the cuff.
Now, when I explain it to you like that, would you send, if you knew that we had 100% graduation of people that come to play for us for 4 years that went on to college, if you knew that, would that increase your capacity to want to send your son to the Greatness Factory?
Absolutely.
All right, so here's what we're talking today. How can you create this Greatness Factory that takes in raw and undeveloped talent, and you hone it and refine it and almost sharpen it to where it pops out on the other side as a true transformational experience? And people look back and they say, man, from this period to this period of my life, I was in this factory that taught me all of these things. So for years, I was a high school basketball coach. I used the vehicle of sport to teach life. But not just the tried and true strategies many coaches use. I used it as a laboratory for greatness. I saw my program, my factory, as a factory and laboratory to squeeze out talent and potential in people. Okay? I combined the emotional and psychological side of winning with sport and business. In essence, my philosophy is where sport and business collided. And so what did we do? We taught our players the 7 habits of highly effective people, the principles of good to great, the 5 dysfunctions of teams, the 5 disciplines of a learning organization. So I would take a child that had no background, no money, no anything, and people would tell me, don't take that kid.
Yeah.
Because here's what they used to say to me. She'll end up in jail or pregnant. That's what I can't tell you how many times I heard that. Or she ran away from home. Or you don't want her. She's a troublemaker. And I would say, she just ain't been to the factory yet. Because all that young girl needs is a great coach and a great system. So I went to work in a 4-year cycle for 5.5 hours a day.
Right.
Growing 4 parts of their nature. Knowledge, skill, desire, and confidence to produce at the highest levels of performance. I now look back on that time, Brock, and I refer to it as the Greatness Factory. Now, you got a son.
Yeah.
Do you believe, your son has some great coaches.
Yeah.
Do you see how a great coach transforms low thoughts of value to high thoughts of value?
100%.
And how do they do it? Do they do it randomly or systematically?
Oh, systematic. I mean, it is complete. You know, and when you said laboratory and factory, right? And you and I, we just had this discussion talking about the Greatness Factory. And I gave you my initial response. But as you explained it, it makes more sense. When I think about a laboratory and a factory and the fact that you used your imagination to create that instead of coaching a basketball team.
That's right.
Right? This was a laboratory and a factory. I started to think about different terms like testing, results, recalibration. I think it gives you the opportunity when you go into a factory to do that. And my son's coaches do the exact same thing. If this works, we stay on it. If this doesn't, we figure out and then we move. So I think that term just elicited a lot about laboratories and factories.
Yeah, because here's the deal. If the companies can become the exact same thing.
Absolutely.
Is that we put people from all walks of life into this factory. And then we, because of our systems and our structures and our thought processes and our philosophies and our laboratory of success, then we pump out one thing, baby. We pump out greatness. Is it possible to put people from all walks of life into a factory and engineer them to win? Yes, at the highest level. I think so, and that's really what we're going to teach you today. I'm going to show you how we did it. I'm going to show you how we had this greatness factory, how we put people into it, and how we pumped them out, okay? Because if you understand systems thinking, and I'll just give you a little nugget. If you understand systems thinking at all, the best book ever written on systems thinking is The Fifth Discipline by Peter Singing. And he talks about how systems, how something can happen over here, but it doesn't have an impact till over here.
Right.
And because of time and space, you can't put it together.
Sure.
You can't put it together. But how many times if you sat down and asked players that played for me 15 years ago, and they say, man, that guy taught me something when I played for him that I just now understand.
Right, connecting the dots.
If you understand systems thinking, here's what you understand. The leader, listen up, coaches, leaders, bosses, managers, entrepreneurs. The leader always has the most influence over any system. The leader. So I love it when people say, oh, if we could just fix all these crazy people around here, it'd be great. Yeah, let's start with the damn chief crazy person. That's you, right? The leader has the most influence over any system. The better the leader, the better the team. The better the leader. We're in a system. When in a system, people conform. And what I mean by that is they either play up or they play down, depending on the peer-to-peer accountability and the expectation of the leader. So if you have a lazy culture, we coach a lot of people.
Right.
Then what people do is they come in and they play down. Because in the system, at the factory, people play up or they play down. Okay? Most systems of training are incomplete, and I'm going to talk about that in segment 2. I'm actually going to show you how to tap in. And if you use words like all in, potential of the whole person, we need every part of you, then we're going to show you how our system of greatness, the Greatness Factory, how I did it when I was a coach, how we do it today as we go to work on the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Today we're talking Greatness Factory. We pump out greatness from all walks of life and how you can build one too. You're watching the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, and this is Brock Patterson, the Optimizer. Hey, this is Coach Micheal Burt, and I have a prediction. Within the next 5 years, every manager in the world will will have to become a coach. You know, a good coach will do 3 things for you. They make you have conversations you don't want to have. They make you do some things you don't want to do. They'll help you become something you didn't think you could become. This transition, what I call the coaching revolution, prompted me to create a program called Turn Your Managers into Coaches. What we want to do is drive up engagement, drive up production. We want to become a manager other people want to follow. If you've got managers out there that you want to turn into coaches that engage people in systematic behaviors that allows them to do something tomorrow they simply cannot do today, pick up the phone and call us, 225-8380, 615-225-8380, or email us at info@coachburt.com, and we're going to teach you how to turn your managers into great coaches. Hey guys, welcome back to the Super Coach Show. Boy, we're having fun today. You know, one thing we're going to do today, we're going to find a kryptonite in your life, because a good coach will have conversations with you don't want to have. They make you do some things you don't want to do. They help you become something you didn't think you could become. Today we're talking Greatness Factory. I want you to be thinking that your company, your organization, your team can become a laboratory of greatness. And I refer to this because I was a high school basketball coach for a decade. We won 74% of our games. 221 games. We lost 77 over a 10-year cycle. And I stayed up all night on all 77 of those, okay?
Right.
And walked the floors.
Every play.
But when I look back on this, I wrote a book about it in 08, 09, I think, called The Anatomy of Winning. If I had to go back and retitle that book, you know what it would be called, Brock?
What's that?
The Greatness Factory. Because
Right.
people started to wonder, what are you doing to produce all these freaking winners? Even when people would send me players and say, she's a loser. She'll end up in jail. She's been a troublemaker. She'll end up, causing problems. I said, hey, what she needs is a good coach and a good system.
Right.
We'll bring the discipline to the party. So when we left off in the last segment, we were talking about when you start talking about potential. Here's what I want you to understand when you talk about potential, guys. You cannot talk about potential if you don't understand the whole person.
Right.
Now, we preach this till I'm blue in the face, but you would be shocked how many people, Brock,
Right.
this is the first time they've ever heard this concept. Now, 1989, I'm going to take you back to my mentor, Covey.
Right.
He talked about the whole person in 89, 94, and here's was his prediction. Right now, it seems fringy to talk about the whole person in corporate America. Body, mind, heart, and
Right.
spirit.
True.
He said, but there will come a time in our society that it is mainstream to talk about all 4 parts of a person's nature. And boy, was he right.
Oh, it's here.
Probably the reason he sold 30 million books.
Right.
Because what he predicted came true. So when you think about this, the body, the person has 4 parts.
Right.
Body, mind, heart, and spirit. Each of these parts produce 4 different needs, 4 different capacities, 4 different intelligences, 4 different dimensions.
There you go.
Bodies needs to live.
Right.
Minds needs to learn. Hearts needs to love. Spirits needs to leave a legacy. So this manifests itself, if you're paying attention, and you're trying to pump out greatness in your company. Everybody that's got it, I was with a $1 billion company today, Churchill Mortgage.
Right.
If they want to pump out greatness and build a greatness factory, then what they have to do is they have to go to work on growing all 4 parts of a person's nature. Now, how does a person do that, Brock? How have you seen me do it? How do you think a person can touch all 4 parts of a person's nature?
And in the corporate landscape, it's challenging.
Yes, it is.
But I believe companies are starting to do that. They've embraced, if you really look out, they've embraced wellness programs. So they're giving incentives.
That's a body.
So they're giving incentives for weight loss, stop smoking, go to the gym memberships. So they're incentivizing that to happen, to take care of the body. In the mind, you see a lot of spiritual. It may not be a certain religion, but some spiritual time. Time to reflect, time to meditate. So they're really starting to tackle that. Those are 2 things that I think that I see right now happening quite a bit in companies.
So when you think about this, what they're trying to do is squeeze out the potential of every employee. So here's let me give you some add-ons to what he said. The body's needs to live. It's also where skill and discipline is manifested. So when you're looking at coaching people in this greatness factory that you've built, number one, do they have a skill problem?
Right.
That could be how they, if they're in sales, how they open, how they close, how they pivot, how they communicate, how they prospect. That's skill. The mind's need is to learn and be engaged. This is IQ. Vision. This is where I'm at a job where I learn and grow and get better. Okay, what I did today at Churchill was taking their people and growing their knowledge, right? The heart's need is to love and be loved. This is where emotional toughness comes in. This is where drive comes in, want to. With little or no desire, nothing happens. This is also the piece of validation, where you tell people you appreciate them. They're doing a great job. You reward them. And people don't leave their jobs. Many times they leave their bosses.
Right.
So they don't like how they get treated. So at the Greatness Factory, you're nourishing all four parts. Spirit's needs to leave a legacy, to connect to a higher power. This is where confidence is manifested. So when you're coaching people at your Greatness Factory, here's the simple thing. Are you coaching them in knowledge? Are you coaching them in skill? Are you coaching them in desire? Or are you coaching them in effort? That is a whole person. So every year in my Greatness Factory, when I was a coach, I touched all four parts of their nature.
Nice.
Talked about here's where we're going. That's vision, spirit. Help protect swag and confidence, spirit. Worked on the body constantly, weightlifting, conditioning, training, all that, right? Worked on emotional quotient.
Sure.
That's toughness, bounce back, all of the adversity. So here's my question to you. If you're a coach, and I do a show every week called Good Coach, Bad Coach, Sunday night, CoachBurt.com, and it's on iTunes. You need to listen to that if you're a leader or if you're... That is very important. That is specific to those coaches and those leaders and managers. If you're a coach, when you don't perform, I bet this is what you say. We didn't have enough effort or heart. Has that got anything to do with the body? Nope. You say, we don't believe in each other enough or our system. Got nothing to do with the body. Spirit. We don't trust each other enough. Or we practice the dysfunctions of teams. Spirit. We don't have enough chemistry. Spirit and heart. We don't have enough skill. That's the body. We don't have enough discipline. That's the body. Now, if you're not doing something to touch all parts of a person's nature, you are basically growing a fragmented person. So let me ask you this question, viewers. What good is it to have skill with no desire? What good is it to have knowledge with no confidence? What good is it to have a bunch of confidence with no knowledge? Right? So that's the problem. You got to understand the whole person. So what are you doing in a weekly basis? Let me break it down. You used to be in a lot of meetings.
Yes.
Corporate America.
Yes.
How many of those meetings actually reached down and touched you either at a spiritual or emotional heart level where you said, by God, I am ready to run through the wall for this company? How many of those meetings?
Well, probably less than 1%. Less than 1%.
So let me show what do people do. Hey, we're going to do a retreat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show a YouTube video of a horse race, of a horse that started off bad and ended first. Or I'm going to show you some touching moment. I'm going to show you a video.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to elicit the spirit and the heart. Give me a damn.
Let me touch on this real quick, because you bring up a good point. And I may have talked about this on a previous show we had before, but I had a senior level manager who, anytime I got an accolade or award, wrote me a handwritten note thanking me. But she never, ever said one word to me, ever. Walked right by me and never thanked me. Now, I appreciated that moment of that card, but come on. I mean, I think you can do it in multiple ways. It doesn't have to just be a thank you. I think a handwritten note's great if you're telling somebody face to face, thank you, because it it would have impacted my heart and my spirit.
Now, when you think about this, you brought back something. I had a habit, and Lauren reminded me of this when I hired her. Lauren K. Hudgens, you can follow her, Secrets of a Successful Single Yoga Mom. She found a letter that I wrote her when she was my player. I had a habit of writing my players' notes. And it may say, tonight's going to be the best night of your career. Or, I love coaching you. Or I can't believe the progress you made. And on senior night, when they were getting ready to graduate on senior night, I would write a full-page note about all the memories we had together, how much it meant to me to coach them. And you would be amazed, and I would leave it in their locker before the game. And many of them would come, and they would cry, and they would say, I can't, it really touched me that you said that. But what I was doing, and is I was trying to reach down and touch their soul, which was a much deeper thing than just touching the body or the skill level.
Right.
So let me give you some kryptonite at the Greatness Factory here today. Let me give you some kryptonite on this. Number 2. Here's what we got. If for you, you ain't got an assembly line of greatness, okay? Hey, my contact's going to say, you won't have an assembly line of greatness. That's really the first problem we got, okay? Is that you don't have this greatness factory. What you got is a commodity factory. People come one way and they stay the same way they came. There is no transformation that's taking place. And here's what I would tell you. You either got a commodity factory, which is what most universities have today, or you got a mediocre factory. So let me tell you this. I said it this morning, then we'll get you out here to the break. The owner of Churchill Mortgage, and I'm using him a lot because that's where I spoke this morning. He said people are silently begging for you to lead them. They don't say it out loud, but the more I talked about touching the body, mind, heart, and spirit, you know what people did? Their eyes perked up. They leaned in. They bought in. And I could tell we had them hooked.
Right.
They are silently looking to be led. When you're at the Greatness Factory, you got a great organization. You got one that pumps out greatness from all walks of life. When we come back in the next segment, the Greatness Factory works on a schedule, baby. It works on a schedule. Come in, pop them out. You're watching the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, and this is Brock Patterson. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt here. I believe everybody needs a coach in life, and that's why I'm inviting you to join me in the Big Apple, baby. The Monster City on the planet, New York City, April 17th and 18th. Spend 2 days in an immersion type experience with me at my Monster Producer Summit. I'm going to teach you the 7 frameworks of a monster producer. I'm going to teach you how to take monster action, a monster explanation of services, monster selling system, how to get monster attention, how to keep your monster swag, and ultimately how to build a monster enterprise. For $499, join me at the Sheraton, New York City, Times Square for 2 days, 8 hours. Spend some personal time with Coach. You're serious about being a legendary creature this year that dominates every field by combining multiple skill sets. Go to CoachBurt.com or email us at info@CoachBurt.com to sign up at $4.99, 2 days with me. This will be a monster experience. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. Got 3D effects going on.
That's
right
nice.
there.
Look at that.
Follow me at Micheal Burt.
Golly, where'd that come from?
Don't think she won't get herself a little attention for her brand either, okay? I've taught her well. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, Super Coach. Follow me at Micheal Burt. We multiply your life, multiply your money, multiply your business, and we always find the kryptonite. And one of the kryptonite things I said a minute ago, Brock, was that you ain't got no greatness factory.
Right.
What you got's a mediocre factory. You got an average factory. You got a commoditized factory. That's what you got. You don't have this greatness factory, which is what we're talking about today. Because to be great, you gotta build all 4 parts of a person's nature.
Oh yeah.
You got to build all 4 parts of a person's nature. Now, second and third segment, we're going to combine these into one because I get really excited talking about this stuff. Okay, I'm probably going to write a book on this called The Greatness Factory. I've been thinking about it, working on it. Also working on a book called Good Coach, Bad Coach: Secrets Great Coaches Know that Others Never Figure Out. Here's what I tell you about a Greatness Factory. It works on a schedule, baby. It works on a schedule, just like an assembly line. And I know that's a negative word in a lot of people's minds. But don't you want your son to be systematically grown
Yes.
in his knowledge, in his skill, in his desire, and his confidence. See, part of the problem with our school system is real simple. It's not integrated. He's got some great teachers and some lousy teachers. So what happens is he goes forward and then he goes backward. There is not this greatness assembly line where we put people in and we pump them out on the other side. So, for example, in my Greatness Academy, Greatness Factor, when I was coaching, I used to teach people the 7 habits of highly effective people when they walked in the door. Now, what do you think a 14-year-old thinks when they hear those 7 habits?
What the heck?
What the hell is this guy teaching me? What do you think parents called it? You know what parents called it? Parents called it brainwashing. They would say, man, even the other day, one of our clients, Blake Finney, said, oh, yeah, I was talking to so-and-so, and he talked about how good you were at brainwashing players. Now, it may look like brainwashing.
Right.
But it's brainwashing in a good way, because wouldn't you want your son or daughter to know the 7 habits of highly effective people?
Yes.
Wouldn't you want them to know the principles of good to great?
Yeah.
The 5 dysfunctions of teams, how to build, maintain, and protect their confidence, 7 decisions every kid needs to make. So to me, there's an assembly line. When you first walked in, we taught you this. There was a consistency of methodology every day. I did success academies, next step academies. I constantly recalibrated, constant evaluation, constant expectations. See, what I did is I set expectations, and I held people accountable to those expectations. So, Brock, if you're building a greatness factory at work, you've worked in different places.
Yeah.
The place that trained you the best, what did they do to build this greatness concept in you that may have been like a greatness factory?
Yeah, they put, the great companies out there, the ones that, and I'm assuming, I don't know this, but I'm assuming Apple, you look at what Starbucks is doing with their training, they put training first. And they stop looking, a lot of people look at employees as liabilities.
Yes.
Employees are assets. Their knowledge is important. What they've learned, the connections they've got, the relationships they got. If you discount that, then you're ignorant. What I see a lot of companies, the ones that I've been successful with, is they created monthly training programs.
Yes.
They built it on a theme. They continue to reinforce it day by day, week by week, month by month.
So when you think about this, a manager solves problems and makes decisions. But a coach, and at the Greatness Factor, hit that slide over there on that Greatness Factor. We can get that puppy up. Whoop, wrong way. When you think about this Greatness Factory, when you think about that, then here's what we've got, okay? We have got a coach, a leader. That leader has got a philosophy. And the philosophy is, I'm going to engage you, the employee, the geese, the flock, in a systematic way that allows you to do something tomorrow you cannot do today. So let me give you some of the systematic principles that I had as a leader of the Greatness Factory. And that's how we won 74% of our games. Here were some of my philosophies. Everybody needs a coach in life. Why? Because a good coach will do all those things. Have conversations you don't want to have. Potential is just kinetic energy that's stored until utilized. That's what I believed about potential. Okay? We can't reach it without the help of another person. I also taught that individuals can never accomplish things without the context of a group. You should grieve and be sick about your lost potential. Right? Coaching is ongoing systematic growth that allows you to do something tomorrow you can't do today. And I believe in dominant aspirations versus goals. Now, these are beliefs that I had at the Greatness Factory. Everybody needs a coach. Don Meyer had 3 rules, Brock. This is a coach that won over 1,000 games. He said, everybody says please and thank you. Everybody says yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, no, ma'am. And everybody picks up trash. Nobody is too good. Isn't that cool rules?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me tell you what a mediocre factory has. No coaching.
Yeah.
No realization of potential. It's a big hodgepodge of cesspool of undercapitalized potential. Did I make that clear? That's what it is. It's a big pile of you-know-what. Okay?
Dangerous.
Number 3, it's a free agent nation.
Right.
I can't tell you how many of these I see in our world today. Probably need to do a show on it. We live in a free agent nation. Okay? Number 4, it's a complacent nation. Number 5, management supervision versus coaching and developing. And number 6, they got measly goals versus dominant aspirations. What do you see in these mediocre factories versus the greatness factory?
Clarify it with what do you?
When you see a greatness factory versus a mediocre factory?
Yeah.
What do you see as it relates to leadership? Because I just mentioned no coaching, no realization.
All right, I'm glad you said. I just need to clarify that. What I see is it starts with the top down. Mm-hmm. The company doesn't know who they are. They don't know what they represent. They don't know what they believe in. The leaders don't believe in the same thing, and so you bring people into this hodgepodge of mess.
Commodity factory.
Yeah, this commodity factory. Because you don't know what you represent, where you're going to, your dominant aspiration. It starts from the top, identity.
So here's a big question that I know the viewers out there asking. If you're listening to us on iTunes, Super Coach Show with Coach Micheal Burt, can you turn losers into winners? Can we turn losers into winners? Now, I personally believe that you can. And let me tell you why. We did a show before we got on the Wit Nation called Motivate the Unmotivated.
Right.
And when we did that show, my research indicated this concept. If a person has lost their whole life, can we take them and turn them into a winner at this greatness factory, right?
Right.
I believe the answer is yes. The strongest influence over other people is peers.
Right.
If you put kids out there, if you have children, the strongest influence they'll actually ever have is their peers.
Yeah.
They'll either play up or they'll play down.
Right.
That's why at the greatness factory, you set expectation here. Because at the factory, people conform.
Right.
Up or down. Without peer-to-peer accountability, then what happens is we got no accountability, right? I think you can take someone or turn somebody around with expectations of others and accountability. Because when we did that show, we found out that you could spur or pride or induce motivation in another person. So I think, this is why I said I did take losers and turn them into winners. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't mean losers as far as they're less than or not as good as other kids. They had just traditionally lost in the world. And what they were needing was a great coach and a great system. I do believe you can motivate the unmotivated, and I do believe that culture eats strategy any day of the week. So let me give you some kryptonite here to get you out of here, then we'll recap the show. When you think about this, here's your kryptonite when it comes to this. You believe that losers will always be losers. That once a loser, always a loser. If you watch the Whatever It Takes Network, my boy at Grant Cardone will even tell you out of his own mouth, at 25 years old, he was a big ball of unrealized potential. Checked in a drug treatment facility, was selling hash. I ain't ever even touched hash. Hash out of a shoe box, a clothes box where he was selling clothes. Right. And he went to a drug treatment facility and was broke and broken. Right. In essence, if we would have seen him at that time in his life, he was a loser. Right or wrong? He was a loser. He would tell you that himself. Now he's a multimillionaire on his way to earning $1 billion in volume, whatever the case may be. So what if we checked out on him at 25? Yeah. I guarantee you he got around somebody and got into the greatness factory. So your kryptonite here is real simple. You believe that once a loser, always a loser. There is no rehabilitation. Right. I work in the prison system in Tennessee, and if I believe that, Brock, then I would never work in the prison system. Because once you committed a crime against society, people that don't believe this believe in incarceration versus rehabilitation. 98% of prisoners will get out of prison. That's your problem. You don't have a system for greatness. Therefore, you cannot take losers and turn them into winners. Now, that's a bold statement. What's your thoughts on that one?
Late bloomers, baby. I mean, I'm a late bloomer.
Yes.
I had all the talent, I had all the knowledge, all the skills in the world, but I was just a late bloomer. I didn't realize my full potential. I think if you give up on those people, I mean, we're giving up on innovation, change. I mean, we're giving up on greatness.
And you went from class clown to college professor.
D's to degrees,
from
class clown to college professor.
And bozos.
And I laugh all the way to the bank.
So today we're telling you that, guys. Today we're telling you I'm passionate about this concept. I hope you can tell because I spent a decade of my life building this puppy. Building the greatness factory. Now I'm doing it. Now I'm doing it with adults. Now I'm doing it. I do believe you can take losers and turn them into winners. I do believe in second chances. I do believe that potential is just sitting there. waiting for somebody to help you act on it. You can build your own Greatness Academy. You can do this with systems and expectations you create. You can take them losers and turn them into winners. The D's to degrees, the class clowns to the college professors. The greatest influence over everybody else is the peers and the accountabilities, because we do conform either up or down. Once you build greatness, once you build this Greatness Academy, you'll have to shoo people away, because there'll be so many people trying to get in the doors. To attract other people, we must become attractive. You've been watching the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Follow me at Micheal Burt. Brock Patterson, the Optimizer, the Agent, the Jerry Maguire, the Don King, and the Jack Welch. Follow us every week here on the Super Coach Show, where we multiply your life, multiply your money, and multiply your business. Go out there this week and be great, everybody.